All right, we're here with Bryan Traughber again. He's head cross-country coach of DeSmet High School. And Bryan, today I want you to talk a little bit about your progression, as a racer. Obviously, you coach and you get to work with a lot of different athletes and kind of teach them how to race. But tell me, how you've kind of progressed since 2008 when you started getting some coaching, and take us through, what maybe your perceptions of racing were, or how to race, and then how they've evolved and changed over the last couple of years.
Well, I think before 2008, whenever I would have a race, I may have had a goal in mind, but it wasn't very specific, and I would go to the line and just kind of hope for the best. I never really had splits or a pacing goal in mind, so that's really changed over the last few years. Another thing would be a thing like a course preview, where you go out and do the course, you know the course, and you know what to expect. Those things have really helped me progress as a runner, especially in the longer races. My first few marathons, I had a really big fade. I would drop 2 or 3 minutes the last few miles per mile, and that really added to my time, as you pointed out several times. So we worked really hard on trying to pick an accurate pace and then hold that pace, and that's really helped me, especially with the longer distance running. So I think it's really important to have a plan and to pace yourself properly. Even with my guys in the 5K, we practice even splits, or at least close to it. They still go out a little bit faster than they finish, but we want to be as close to even as possible, and that's what I've learned from you and Big River Coaching, and I think it's helped me progress and run the times I have. I think that's how I dropped an hour off my marathon time in about an 8-year period.
Yep. And take us through, do you consider yourself more of a pure racer, like just a straight racehorse that gets out there, or are you someone who's more involved in splits and even pacing and things like that? Because there is kind of a big difference between people who are big pacers and people that just kind of go out there and race.
I'd see myself as more of a pacer, especially with the longer distances. So I know that if you don't plan accordingly and don't start the race at the appropriate pace, the end, the last half or the last 6 miles of the marathon can be pretty ugly. So I'm definitely a little bit more conservative at the beginning, knowing that it's important to control that fade and make sure that the splits, and make sure you can maintain that even pace throughout the race. So I would say I'm much more of a pacer than a racehorse.
And what do you feel like going forward you need to work on? Like, what's the next step for you in terms of getting better at racing?
Well, I think it's a little bit more of the same. I mean, I think the strategy that you've implemented is perfect. I just have to get more fit and get faster so that I can maintain a faster pace for a longer period of time. We averaged 7:20 in the last marathon. I was fairly consistent. I would do the same thing again for the next marathon. It just needs to be a little bit faster per mile. But I think that plan has worked really well for me to maintain even racing, and just now we have to get myself in a spot where I can run a faster pace and able to hold that pace without fading. So.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for your time.